my goodness. I can't believe we're back. We got Mr. Biscuit himself.
It's a strange time we're living in, broken but feeling hierarchy.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40s. I go by the name Black Pegasus, and I got the fan favorite back in the house, the one and only Mr. Biscuit. What's up?
Good? What's good, man?
Hey, man, it's been a minute. How you been?
It's a new day. I'm ready to get back into it, buddy.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Now, since then, this is so funny to me how disconnected you are from like social media.
Yeah.
So I hit him up, and REN put our reaction on his Instagram. And
shout out to REN, man.
Yeah. So this is Mr. Biscuit from that reaction. And anyways, the craziest thing is I noticed it's like one of his most viewed reels or videos on his Instagram. It's not the most viewed, but it's like top 5, which is insane because that's just remarkable. There's something there that was
for
captured.
sure. I think he pinned it on IG, which was pretty dope. Shout out to REN for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was wild. But the funniest thing, the reason I thought it was wild is because he just didn't know. And I had tagged him in it. He still didn't know. One day I sent it to him. I was like, bro, I tagged you in this. This has almost 16 million views. He's like, oh, word.
You know what's insane?
Yeah, REN's tight.
You know what's insane, bro? It's like people would approach me at work, and I still didn't get it. People approach me at work, be like, yo, are you the guy from the REN video? And I was like, yeah. But that still didn't clue me into like, yo, maybe there's a lot of people who've seen this.
Yeah.
But
anyways, we got a really good first-time reaction to, I think it was The Hunger, Hi REN, and then REN busking. And all that's on the channel. Go check it out. You'll love it. But we got Mr. Biscuit back, and he's never heard Money Game, and he's never heard any of them, seen any of the videos. So right now, we're doing a REN roller coaster. Pause. No Diddy times infinity.
No Diddy times infinity is crazy.
We are about to watch all of the Money Games right here and now. And if you guys are here for it, like, share, comment, subscribe.
When did this one drop?
Oh, this is kind of old. Like part 3 was more recent. It's
okay.
Like, I think it's a year old or a few months. We'll go into it. With him, you know, because the upload.
That's right, yeah.
See, with the classic stuff, you don't know because it's like uploaded 12 years ago, came out in the 70s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, let's get it, y'all. Welcome back.
They tease him a lot, black peas on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. 40.
All right, if you guys are wondering about the new intro, it's because some weird composition company has been copyright claiming all my old videos with "The Boys Are Back in Town," which we replayed, I resung and all of that, and I could beat the copyright, but the time it takes, it's just BS. YouTube's on some BS, so I had to switch up the intro. Was something I enjoyed, so I just want y'all to know Don is still in the mix. We got our channel, the 40-year-old FUQ Boys. I'll link it in the description. And now I have another channel, Pegasus vs. the World, where I do a lot of commentary and different stuff there. So if you want to check it out, link in the description. If you want access to these reactions early, we have a membership on the channel. That link's in the description as well. And there's a huge catalog of reactions that have not been released to the public yet. Also, I update it every single day. There's never an obligation. Just remember, thank you for your support. Huge shout out to all the members. Let's get this going. Now, this is from REN's official YouTube channel. Please go over there and watch this without us, because what we do is never a substitute for the original content. I always plug that now at the beginning because it is an important piece for me to promote all the stuff that I'm reacting to on this channel. So, all right, man, we're going to get into this. Let's see what you think about this. Now, I haven't done a REN reaction in so long. This is kind of weird. Like I kind of, you know,
and you already know, so because you've seen this already. You kind of know what I'm in for because you pulled something last time, bro. With the
when he's busking out in the streets.
Yeah, bro. He's like,
call it murder.
I have no idea what to expect at that point. So is it's gonna be one of those or what?
Hey man, just watch. Man.
REN is a wild boy, man. Let's get it.
All right, REN Money Game Part 1.
It's a strange time we're living in. War can put fear in. Hierarchy parties, they make us feel inferior. Greed runs through parliament interiors. Devils walk among us, they fit the criteria. Eerie theory, stripe fearing, weary-minded men when we're clearly living in dictatorships. Nearly blinded by illusions to choose, but who's fooling who? A ball chained to your shoes on pain. It's a crying shame. The pursuit of our own wealth lights a flame that makes greed a game that lets this whole war burn. As the world turns, the whole world burns. But money was invented for trade, but now those bits of paper twist hearts, make slaves, turns a saint into a sinner, a child into a killer. His finger on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm it comes our way, and those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we like to point the blame, 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 blame.
What genre is Ren? Like it's what's so dope about him, in my opinion, is like I almost feel sometimes like he's creating his own genre. You know, it's like you don't. What category do you put it in? Do you put it in rap? Do you put it in?
Yeah, because even with
It's
this,
so
this
dope.
hook has like a ska or reggae-ish influence,
Right.
The way he's presenting it.
Because a lot of people, when they would try to put a lot of genres together, one of the greats are like Red Hot Chili Peppers at like putting different genres together and knowing how to cross genres and still make it sound dope. But that's an extremely rare achievement for an artist. You know what I'm saying? And it feels like Ren does that effortlessly with the things that are his own music. You know what I mean?
Ren is the artist of this generation. He's literally the Avatar, the Last Airbender.
Yo.
You know what I mean? Like he came to save the world.
Yo, if you don't mind, bro, so I might like piss off some of the fans. You mind like starting this over?
Oh, from the very beginning?
Yeah, just because, man, it's so dense. I want to be able to feel what he's saying while watching, because the thing is, he's pulling you in with the rope. It's so dynamic and deep with the meaning that I feel like I want to keep it going and not interrupt it, but I also have things to say. You feel me?
Sure. Now, what I want to highlight, as you notice, because he notices all these little intricate details, like he's like the rope, he's like, yo, it's pulling me in. Also the lyrics, the music. But what I just want to highlight as you go into this, which makes this even extraordinary, I'm starting to get goosebumps. Look, this is a live performance again. This is a lapel mic. So, and also the dude playing, did you notice his guitar is mic'd up? This is all being done in real time. And I'm pretty sure this is the one that was done in one take. I think Money Game 3, they did different angles and stuff, but this was done in one take. So keep that in the back of your mind as you watch this, because it adds another extraordinary feat to accomplishing doing this video.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys, he wanted to see it from the beginning. This is going to be a fun reaction. Let's go.
It's a strange time we're living in. War can put fear in. Hierarchy parties, they make us feel inferior. Greed runs through parliament interiors. Devils walk among us, they fit the criteria. Eerie theory, stripe fearing, weary-minded men when we're clearly living in dictatorships. Nearly.
Bro, with what he's talking about, bro, like, it's ironic that the person playing the guitar is complicit in his own victimization. So think about it. He's playing the guitar. Like, Ren is clearly the one who has tied him up and put him in this position. That's the rope coming toward Ren. And so Ren is telling the story of what they're doing to you. And by having this guy who's tied up playing the guitar, he's saying, we're complicit in what's happening to us.
Hold up. Hey.
That's all I got to say.
Bro.
Yo.
Ren is somewhere else, man.
Facts.
He really is. So yeah, let's keep it going.
Blinded by illusions to choose, but who's fooling who? A ball chained to your shoes on pain. It's a crying shame. The pursuit of our own wealth lights a flame that makes greed a game that lets this whole world burn. As the world turns, the whole world burns. But money was invented for trade, but now those bits of paper twist hearts, make slaves, turns a saint into a sinner, a child into a killer. His finger on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we like to point the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. Stop.
Pause it. Stop is like, he has complete control. Another eerie thing about what's going on here is that the perpetrator is telling the victim what he's doing to him. And you hear so many people saying it's so out in the open now. Like they've got us so in this position to where they can just clearly say the corruption.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, it's just a regular thing nowadays to where they don't even have to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
And so with Ren, like going around telling him like this is the way that it works, it's like you can't do anything once you're in this position. Right? Tripping.
This old money game. Dear Mr. President, it's evident that everyone's a resident of fear when they support these ideas to keep us separate, when they make us believe that everybody is coming to terrorize you in the streets. They say badly through gritted teeth, that's my right to hate, that's freedom of speech. But when did freedom become a reason to hate? A way to justify a racist slur or insult we make? There's an irony in freedom, cause us in the West, we have pillaged and plundered and murdered like savages, colonized all of the rest. That's called hypocrisy. Preach a certain value that you never keep yourselves. Your country was in flames, you denigrate yourselves in a second. Still you spit your venom, demonizing immigrants when really you're the immigrant, cause all of us are immigrants or descended from immigrants. Irony is imminent, I'll shed the light on immigrants. America was colonized by Britain. Britain, it was colonized by Rome, and also colonized by the Saxons. They were German, by the way. You know how people throw shade upon the Germans because of history's pain, and yet we made the same mistakes all again. Demonize a whole people, Jewish or Muslim, the same and the same. Old situations play on repeat, the same old TV shows repeat. Yeah, we worship the bleak, our opinions aren't our own, and we follow like sheep. There's no left, there's no right, in the middle we sleep. Rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we'd like to point the blame, blame.
I don't mean to resurrect any traumas for anybody, but anyone who has seen the movie A Clockwork Orange, there's a messed up scene that I'm not going to go into, but they're very cheerfully kind of skipping around and twirling around these, canes. I think he's singing in the rain. And it's a really, really kind of messed up scene. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. Okay. So what's understood doesn't need to be spoken. But it's like the glee and the cheerfulness that belongs to those who have power and who kind of lord it over the people who are just blindly following the steps and going through the process is insane.
Absolutely.
And he kind of embodies that in this scene right here.
Yeah, he really does. The other thing that I picked up on when I did my first time reaction, what you picked up on is glee, or your comparison with a Clockwork Orange, the way his overcoat is moving or whatever he's wearing,
right?
It kind of reminded me of Batman. Then his movements reminded me of like the Joker. The way he's like, into the frames and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of things here. And I think that could just be coincidental in that sense. But he has taken on like this Joker character, which is very similar to the Clockwork Orange characters that you speak of who have all this power, that gang, and them, abusing people
for sure.
That scene.
To all of my readers out there, there's a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. Incredible book. It's a short book too, but he talks about, one of my favorite lines in it is, it's not the role of the oppressor to free the oppressed. It's the job of the oppressed to free himself and then go back and free the oppressor. Because the oppressor is going insane by dint of being that oppressor. You feel me? So it's like what he's doing in this, he's losing it too. You know what I'm saying? Like this joint gets real, real, real dark.
Remember what you just said. Let's go. I'm going to remember that.
Blame, blame, it's easier to blame. But point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
Still performing. Live audio.
This whole money game. This old money game.
So I'm going to have to rewatch that on my own time. However, the first time I got goosebumps with this is when he like arrested the guy's means of, because what does that guitar mean? The guitar that the victim is constantly playing. That could be any mundane, repetitive thing that the system has you doing in order to chase or to play the money game, right? It seems to me on first watch that REN is saying that at some point they're going to start messing with your ability even to do that, right? And it seems like we're on the cusp of that era where it's like people are going to start losing their jobs to AI and all this. Like, at the end of the day, what was it all worth? What was the money game all worth at the end of the day? Right. And perhaps, I don't know what pouring the gasoline on himself and lighting it represents, but maybe it means that the money game eventually eviscerates itself.
I'm going to punch in. It's interesting because you had this unique foresight from the book, and you said something about setting yourself free. And taking yourself out like that is setting yourself free, you know? But in this sense, you were looking at him as the oppressor. So, you know, I think there's many ways to interpret this. I've done this reaction numerous times here, and I think you saw it in a different way, and you really were able to connect the dots with the cinematic art and the musical art.
Right.
And I do think there is something there. And I think that ending, when I look at it from the aspect you were talking about, I think the ending is unique, but there is something about it self-destructing. You see the greed and stuff, like a self-destructing.
It's self-destructive, right?
It's self-destructing. But there was something interesting you said that I never even took for the money concept, was that
Was it the Paulo Freire quote?
Yeah, it's the fact that as the oppressed, it's up to you to set yourself free. And then instead of going back and oppressing the oppressor and be like, you were wrong, because we have all these conversations in America. You did this to us. Now we want to see you like this.
Right.
And it's, you have to free them.
Yeah.
That is so valiant. Like, I'm actually lost in that concept, how this is interwoven in this concept as well.
Right. And that's the most difficult thing, not to learn the behavior. Because so many times in revolution, the problem with revolution is you become the thing that you are trying to revolt against.
Sure.
You just reawaken it in yourself and you become the tyrant.
Yep.
Right. And so the brilliance of Paulo Freire in that book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, is like, look, you can't, once you free yourself, that the immediate thought is everything the oppressor did to me, I'm going to visit that upon the oppressor. But then the spirit of the oppressor has now possessed you.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
But I'm going to have to watch this 4, 5, 6, 7 more times.
This is just part 1. We're about to watch part.
Wait.
This is
don't do that, bro. This is done. No, don't do that, bro. This is done. There's 2.
There's 2 more parts we're about to watch.
You're bugging, bro. We'll watch. Listen, let's watch them part 2 next year, and then part 3. But I wanted your insight on this. What do you think that it meant? He has the guy's head covered, right? But then when he starts messing with the guitar, he starts grabbing the guitar and stopping him from playing the music. He does something to him that we're not allowed to see. And then when he goes away, the guy now has some drawings like on his face, almost like eyes.
Yes.
I'm struggling. What does that mean?
I don't necessarily, I mean, I think it's up to interpretation. I think he had a specific meaning, but this is what happened. Like, so he's kind of roughing him up and then he draws the eyes on. And what's unique is he sits in front of him as he incinerates, himself. He destroys. So that's why I'm saying, like, there is confusion here, but there is meaning, but the lyrics are very straightforward. That's what kind of gets you through it. But like, I go back and forth with, because there's so many different concepts unfolding in this. I've went back and forth on this one, and this is similar to now high REN is difficult in the sense of interpretation too, because it can go many ways when we're talking about vices. But this, like, the cinematic art here is different, because you're bringing up things that I was like, yeah.
Does REN have a writing team?
No, he writes.
No, I don't mean the lyrics. I mean the concept for the video.
I think him and Sam come up with the most of that. So Sam's his video guy, and he works with a couple others from time to time, but him and Sam come up with these concepts, and I think he comes up with the majority of it.
Because the reason I say this amount of brilliance, bro, so many people have giant budgets for their videos. Bruh.
They have a writing team to come up with ideas.
This was like, he got some rope, he got somebody. So he does a brilliant job.
What I noticed from REN that kind of comes out through his artistry, I've been going down the classic reactions, the rabbit hole of classic music, and I'm starting to be able to pinpoint people who've influenced him the most from his style. And I didn't see, so Sting from The Police was obvious from some of the stuff he busks.
Right.
But I can tell now, because I wasn't aware of a lot of this music, but David Bowie. And when you think of Starman and Space Odyssey, I believe it is, in certain things.
David Bowie's like, it's a nice day for a white wedding.
Did he do that song?
I think so. Wasn't that David Bowie?
Wasn't that Billy? I don't know. I don't know. But there's a bunch of stuff that I'm uncovering. And so, like, I'm seeing the brilliance also have an origin point from, just the people that come before you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that inspiration from others that come before you. So it's really cool, because I do honestly think he's this generation's artist that people miss. Like, remember we watched AC/DC did the first time reaction to Thunderstruck? Right. And you were like, this doesn't happen anymore. That was like the first thing, because there is this classic moment in time that happened in the 60s, 70s, parts of the 80s, even the 90s, that it's just not as prevalent today. So when you see someone like REN, you're like, oh, I got to tip my hat.
For sure.
All right, you guys. So I want to explain what's going on. We are doing the REN roller coaster, but you're going to see this video, or one of them. This is going to be the entirety. We are reacting to REN Money Game Part 1, which we just did, Part 2 and Part 3. It'll probably, who knows, it's probably going to be 45 minutes, an hour long. But I will also clip it up in parts where you can just see part 1, 2, and 3. So just a heads up. So, because sometimes people get a little weird, like, yo, I already saw this. Look, it's just so people can digest it in different ways. You know what I mean? So just letting you guys know. But that was Mr. Biscuit's first time reaction to Money Game part 1. Actually, I want to show you just a second of this. This is not about me, you guys. I don't want to do that. But he inspired me. He inspired me, and I just want you to hear how we made this beat, because he inspired me and I made a retake of this, right? And it's like a little bit of a play off of his video. I just want you to hear the beat. Anyone who hasn't seen this, you can go to the channel and check it out. Well, hold on. I just want to play the beat, though.
Some people live for it, some people die for it. Some people go to work, some aspire for it. Some people go to war, some fight fires for it. Some people become liars, only desire for it. How many people?
Anyway, I just wanted to.
You snap, bro.
But the beat, I was so, because my producer did a reaction, a first time reaction on this channel to REN Money Game, Blitz. And he's like, yo, I can make a beat out of it. He immediately said that. And then one day I was like, yo, do it. And then I made the song, and it's just a different, there's so many ways to look at money.
Yeah.
And so I have my own way of looking at it, but I love how REN exposes the very dark side of it, which is greed and power corrupting.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a light side of it, and that's what I kind of covered in mine. But he's absolutely correct with his angles. So I don't want people to think I'm trying to take from him, or, you know what I'm saying? Like I was inspired by him, and that's a tribute to him. That's not like, I'm not putting that on an album. Like, it's just, yo,
salute.
Homage, my bro.
Now, but before we move on to the next one, I just wanted to say, like, for just as a theory, just because my mind bakes, REN is becoming one of my favorite artists. I'm just gonna put it out there right now.
Gotcha.
Like, his ability to invite everyone to the table for an important conversation.
Yeah,
everyone's invited to the table.
Yes.
Reggae is invited to the table. Hip hop is invited to the table.
Yeah.
Rock music is invited to the table.
Yeah.
He's just crossing genres and doing this dope thing. And then having a really important conversation at the same time. When he draws the eyes on that guy, so that's fake sight. That's seeing through eyes that are wrong. And then he incinerates himself. So it's almost like as we watch the money game crumble before our eyes in this society, in this time period, we're all freaking out like, what's happening to money? But those are the eyes that were given to us by the victimizer. Those are the wrong eyes to be seeing this through, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying, that we're no longer having to participate in this madness.
Yeah.
So dope. I'm ready for part 2.
All right, you guys.
Yikes.
I'm going to act like this is a new video just for the edits, right? Because when we cut it up, we're going to cut, like I said, there's going to be this long version that you're probably watching right now, but I'll cut it up in 3 parts so you can go digest it as one part at a time. You know what I mean? But you guys, we got Mr. Biscuit back. He's one of the fan favorites on the channel. You've seen him with my REN reactions, Harry Mack. Those ones really just caught fire. And it's an honor to have him back. But we just watched Money Game Part 1, and we're diving immediately into Money Game Part 2. A lot of good interpretations. I love some of your takes on Money Game Part 1. And we're in for the ride, man. This is part 2. This is on his YouTube channel, the most popular one. The most popular one. And it's not like, it's more like a visualizer and a lyric video. It's not an actual video. So I think that's interesting. But I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to create any, I want you to have your own unadulterated reaction to this.
Got it.
But hey, for y'all that don't know, Mr. Biscuit is a battle rapper. He's a hip hop artist, producer, singer, alongside of being a father, just a good dude and an entrepreneur now. So good friend. Me and him have toured together, done shows together, done albums together.
Facts.
So yeah, we in here. But anyways, let's get into this. This is REN Money Game 2. Let me remind you to always go to REN's channel and watch this without us. What we do isn't a substitute for the original content. And let's get this train on the tracks. Whoops. How did I do that? There we go.
So this is part 2.
Yes, part 2.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding, resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old money is a game and.
So you see how he added more elements of music in this one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
So I think that might be the reason it's popping off so high on his YouTube channel. Maybe because there might be a little more playback value. I was just thinking of that because I was like, after the conversation we just had about part one is kind of it's kind of crazy, you know. And he's still going over the same subject matter, but I feel like our reaction to Money Game Part 1 was like really impactful on both of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, it prepares me more for this one. I mean, this one is at least for what I've heard so far, is very similar to the first one lyric-wise. I mean, he's just kind of unpacking a little bit more. Yeah.
Let's get it. All right, you guys, we're doing a first-time reaction with Mr. Biscuit to REN, Money Game, Part 2.
This old money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his fingering crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want.
Pause it. He has the audacity to be a very good rapper at the same time, bro. It low key pisses me off, bro. He has so many chambers that he's doing very, very well in, bro. Because he doesn't sacrifice the hip hop element.
Yeah,
it's so important, man. Like so many people, they want to get into rap and they want to put a rap element in there. They want to do a bridge where they invite a rapper on a feature, right? But he actually took the time to be like, you're really invited. Yeah. You feel me? Like hip hop is truly invited. And then the reggae element, all that other stuff. But what's kind of creepy to me about the concept, right? The money game concept is all of these politicians know it's in shambles. They're accumulating all this money because they want to get out first. It's like it's almost like they see the thing burning already. So it's like, why are you, when you see everybody around you like accumulating money, you like, whoa, what's happening? You feel me? Like imagine aliens coming down. It's like everyone's trying to accumulate something like they see something coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really trippy.
Yeah, man. One-on-one in a nursery rhyme. Let's go.
Yo, rewind it just like 10, 15 seconds because I love the way he's like, if you're not getting it, like, let me just break it down to you in a nursery rhyme. See?
Yo, facts. All right, let's go.
We climb, turns a saint into a sinner with his fingering crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step 2, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste man. 3, it's monopoly.
Pause it. See, he's telling us, it seems like at this point, he's teaching us how to avoid what he showed us in the first one. Mm-hmm. Like he's saying, look, if you understand this breakdown properly, you won't be in the mental position of everyone who's crying as the world burns. Sure. You'll understand that it was all just a game that we're just not playing anymore.
Propaganda.
Yeah, bro.
Propaganda.
So this nursery rhyme portion is like, look, this is what has happened to us, right? And understanding this and really embodying the understanding of it will make it so that you're not in a cognitively limited state as the world starts to fall.
Absolutely.
Right? You can really, you know what I'm saying? It's dope.
Make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste man. 3, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shows must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore.
Rain, the stormy comes our way, and no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we died upon the plane.
I'm gonna give everybody a gem real quick. If you haven't heard of Rupert Spira, this guy is I would call him a phenomenologist, which is a strange term.
Phenomenologist.
Yeah, phenomenologist, right? So he's really into like embodied meaning. Like what's real is what you can feel. What's real is what's right here. And so he's he has this process called the direct path or whatever. Not going to get into it, but he has this quote, and it's a question. He says, "In what can a person reliably invest one's desire for fulfillment?" In what can one reliably invest one's desire for fulfillment, right? And he tells this story about like this girl that he was with for like 6-7 years. He thought she was going to be the one, first girlfriend, and she left him. Like she called him, she left him over the phone, like didn't want to talk to him again. And then he kind of started this path to like the direct path and understanding these Eastern philosophies and things like that. But he's like, man, so many people, their stress and their anxiety comes from unreliable investments in their fulfillment. Like think about all the product placement, everything that he's talking about. Yeah. It's like, Pepsi, all of this stuff. Like it's modal confusion. In order to be this, you have to have this. Yeah. In order to be happy, you have to have this. In order to be mature, you have to have a car. In order to be in love, you have to have sex, right? It's modal confusion. In order to be, you have to have, right? And that's why, I mean, the part that gave me goosebumps on this one is where he's like, expand. You need more and more and more in order to be. It's, but I feel like this one is a way out of the first one. I feel like the first one was the end of the movie. And this is like, yo, if you could learn this, you could save yourself from that end. But I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. Let's go. We're gonna, yeah.
And rain, a storm it comes our way, and no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game. This old.
You know what's interesting about this? So you know my personality
Yeah.
and how ambitious I am
Yeah.
in the economical quadrant, and watching stuff like this really recenters me to also not lose my morals as I move up the ranks in, trying to reach financial freedom and be very successful, but at the same time doing it the right way. That's very important to me. And watching this also reminds me that and I could be tripping because people get pushed back on me from his audience when I say I am a capitalist.
Yeah.
But what I agree with Ren and all of the people who push back for me saying I'm a capitalist
Right.
is that I believe capitalism unchecked can get a little wonky. Because what I think is when free markets compete, it creates innovation. Because I'm an athlete. So
Right.
I can identify with competing because I've done that my whole life. So I understand that. But what I see happening and what I think he's shining a huge spotlight on, which is very important, is when free markets compete, a winner comes out of that. And what I'm seeing happen is the winner typically, not all the time, but typically uses greed to rig the game to stay and just have this expand. And that's why I love that this checks that even within myself, because as you grow, whether it's financially, you do gain a sense of power, and being responsible is important. And I would argue the more responsible people we have at the top, the better it is for society, because that's the other thing I noticed. As much as wealth, creation and wealth, there's a downside to it.
Right.
There's an up and downside to everything. So can we balance it out? Because in America, there is an opulence of wealth. And because of that, I benefit by default.
Right.
I don't have to live in a third world. I don't have to sell maps on the corner or chicles or whatever.
Yeah.
Because by default, all this wealth. So also appreciating it, but trying to find the balance where we're helping people who are not in a well-to-do spot, and also trying to, anyways, I get crazy on this subject because there's so many nuances. For example, like, wanting to give everyone everything, but not everyone's willing to work at the same level that, let's say, I work, and I work like a madman for certain things. So it's trying to really find that balance. And I do love the way he shines a light on this.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to say is like the world reveals itself in accordance with your aims. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I sell, like my job right now, I sell roofs and I sell siding and I sell windows and gutters and baths and showers, right? And so as I'm driving down the street, I'm noticing fucked up roofs and like cracked windows and, gutters that are, poor, because those are opportunities for me to support my family, right? I can offer you those services. But if you're someone who is always looking for a way to increase your money, then the world just kind of becomes this object instead of this living dynamic thing which deserves
this
to be
living
cared for.
experience.
Right.
It's very dangerous because I find myself, and that's why with the reactions I've learned this too, because I've had to pull back and take certain time off to just make sure that I'm not just doing this for the improper reasons. And same with the other things in my life, trying to find that balance point, because sometimes things just become a number. And it's like, I didn't get on YouTube to just become a number or be like, oh, I have this many subscribers or this many views. I came here to have a good time, connect with people. And really it was to connect with people because I got on here during 2020.
Yeah.
And that isolation was what led me to this, to connect with people. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys, for anyone just tuning in, because I will release this as a premiere. Oh, you had your earpiece in?
I had my earpiece in. Yeah. I couldn't hear my feedback. I'm like, yo, I'm good.
That's funny.
We squared away.
Let's for anyone who's just tapping in, if you're catching this as a premiere, so it looks like, the live, welcome. But we are watching REN Money Game Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 all right now. So I will release them separately so it's a little more palatable for people who don't have an hour or, actually this is probably going to be an hour reaction. So an hour to just sit through the whole thing and you can watch it in parts. So don't trip. And please don't be in the comments. I already saw this. The internet's so weird, bro.
Yeah.
But we just watched Money Game Part 2.
Incredible.
Increíble. And now we're about to get into the thick of it.
Immediately?
Money Game Part 3. And as you see, this was uploaded 1 year ago, so this was the most recent. Let's see actually when these were released. So 5 years ago, Money Game Part 2 came out. Oh, this is. And 5 years ago, Money Game Part 1 came out. So Money Game 1 and 2 relatively came out close to each other, and Money Game 3 is a year old. So this is the newest one, and we're going to see what you think of it. All right, you guys, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I got Mr. Biscuit, the battle rapper, the producer, father, all those good things here. Doing a first-time reaction to Money Game 1, 2, and 3, and we have just arrived at Money Game 3. I would love for you guys to go to REN's channel and check this out on your own. Stream his music. What we do is not a substitute for the original content, so I always want to put them to the forefront. Hey, yo, let's get it, man. You ready?
Yeah, but before we go in, like, I appreciate REN for not releasing these back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, take a couple years to contemplate that one.
Yeah.
And then take a couple years to contemplate this one. You know, it's because my introduction to all this is like back to back to back. And I'm like, yo, this is like an overload.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like someone just getting the Bible. You know, they're like, yo, son, read this.
It's like you're Morpheus, like, would you like to learn Kung Fu? You just download it.
All right, you guys.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Let's do it. This is a REN Money Game Part 3. We got Mr. Biscuit on the ropes right now.
Let's do it. Nah, pause it. He was playing the piano, bro?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know. He can play the piano too?
All right, let's I shouldn't even be surprised at this point, to be honest with you. This shouldn't even arise as a shock. All right, let's go. Pause it real quick. You ever heard Danny Elfman sing? I believe Danny Elfman did the voice of Jack the Pumpkin King in A Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington.
Okay.
He has this same kind of really melancholy vibrato. But it's immediately very haunting. It's like you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Let's get it.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. 35, he gets the call. I'm sorry son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck. Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41, he wasn't walking. 42, not walking quickly. 43, never running round the pavements.
According to Plato, in Plato's Republic, 40 is the year at which you should begin learning philosophy. Before 40, he says you're like a puppy. You're using philosophy as a sword. You're trying to gain, and you're trying to. So it's so many building blocks, right? There's tons and tons of different thinkers who say like 40 is the year where you really begin to bloom.
That's
so
interesting.
it's really interesting that 40 is kind of the time where he has this this rock bottom moment.
That's crazy. Well, just on some personal stuff, it's interesting because your testosterone in your body changes dramatically at 40. And it's interesting you said that because it allows new light because, you know, when something's weakened to stabilize, something else has to get stronger, you know, and they say a lot of men in general actually start getting their bearings around 40 and start becoming successful and stuff like that.
Right.
And there's something to that. It is interesting that you highlighted that, because now that I see that, it's almost like he went through all the stuff that a lot of people start going through in their 40s.
Yeah.
Like, cracking this code and making all these million, this is interesting when you put it like that.
And he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45, Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
I'm wondering, is this the last one? Or is there, I mean, the thing is that the truths that are kind of inside this can kind of be unpacked forever. It can there could be a continuous unfolding of how the money game goes in individual lives.
Because it is a game.
Right.
It's the hamster wheel, and it's always, it's like this eternal, because like when I'm listening to this, I have an internal conflict that I have to face in the mirror, legitimately listening to this. Because this concept, he said we could create utopias.
Right.
I've never seen a utopia. So I struggle. So this is this is the biggest struggle I have. I've never seen a utopia. So my mind is always like, it's not possible to exist. Okay. First, that's my first inclination. That's not even possible. We can only reach balance. But then my rapper, artist mind kicks in.
Right.
That believes in anything. That's my child mind that's still innocent and untampered with and believes in the wonders and the magic of things that don't exist. And that's what's brought me the most blessings in my life, believing that what people said was impossible, believing in it and then achieving it.
Right.
That's when I get the goosebumps. Like, I mean, shit, is a utopia possible? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because my basic premise is nature gives us all the answers. And I personally haven't seen a utopia in nature. In that sense, there's ecosystems. There's ecosystems. They thrive off each other. But then again, I have never been to the depths of the ocean, and neither has anyone else, except for what's in the depths of the ocean or in certain places. So I like this because it challenges my way of thinking, me personally.
Yeah.
Because his audience, I think they gravitate to a different way than like in the last reaction, I was like, I'm a capitalist, Now I do understand at the top there's greed and all this stuff that I'm not with. I don't want to destroy the environment, all this stuff, but I believe in competing markets and stuff like that. I believe it's one of the better systems we've created. And so, a lot of people from his audience will give me pushback, and some will just start roasting me, But again, this is just, my thoughts and stuff. But
I think utopia, the word utopia is synonymous with paradise, right? With the word paradise.
Yes, with perfection.
Yeah, and paradise literally means walled garden. So the walls represent boundaries that we can't cross. And the garden represents exploration and curiosity. So we're allowed to explore as long as we stay within
these boundaries,
right? If the boundaries are too close and there's not enough garden, we call that tyranny. And if there's too much garden and the walls are too low, we call that anarchy, chaos, right? And so the whole thing is like we're trying to find this balance between where the walls should be and how much should be explored and what the consequences should be for transgressing those boundaries. Is utopia possible? I think it may be if we are all more other focused
within boundaries, which is ironic because this is what I'm saying. This is where I conflict and start having a battle because everything he's saying is release the boundaries, right? He said borders are an idea, government, and
sure.
They're supposed, and I'm not a government. Like I'm not, governments are corrupt, you guys, even though I'm trying to get my bread, like, trust me. I align with y'all and him more so on governments. We might have different ideologies, but government is on some corruptive bullshit, but they are supposed to instill law and order. Why? For these boundaries for society to thrive. And that's why I always go back to balance with things. Like balance is very important because in nature, that's the most reoccurring thing of semblance is balance. When things get out of balance, then you have a drought or, animals start to become extinct because the predator, there's too many apex predator in this area. So balance is super key to keep ecosystems alive. So that's how I always look at it. But I'm also a dreamer. I'm an artist. If I wasn't an artist, I wouldn't be doing reactions. I wouldn't be able to see through this lens. And being an artist, I'm like, well, I want to believe there can be a utopia, and I do want to fight for that. Right. I would rather fight for that than just be greedy to get money.
Right. Money Game 3 to me was a showcase of tyranny. The boy was tyrannized by his father. His father, there was no garden. There was no room to explore it. He said, you get money. That's what's important, right? Yes. So the walls are super close and super tall, very little garden, very little room for exploration. So this is not a paradise. This is a tyranny. And when his dad dies, the tyrant is now on his shoulder, telling him, not enough, keep going, right? And so eventually he has to free himself with the 45. But
this dude said, well, free himself.
Bro, Ren might be my favorite artist, bro. Because this dude is really talking, bro.
What's funny is you ain't really heard his rap. Like, he just dropped a rap album called Sick Boy. And you don't even know. Like, you haven't even, like, because you're, like, this is what I appreciate about you. You appreciate the intricacy of punchlines, metaphors, and the syllabic and patterns.
Right.
And he does all that. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to while you're in town, we'll try to do a few more. I think the people would enjoy it. But, hey, man, it's always a blessing to have you in here.
Always.
Mr. Biscuit's first time reaction to Money Game 1, 2, and 3. And this is going to end the Money Game train. Pause. No Diddy times infinity. With part 3. Yeah. I mean, you say train, you got to say pause now. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Diddy F that up for
no
everybody.
diggity.
Anyways, that was a deep convo. I appreciate you guys tapping in. Catch you on the next one.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ.